To add a quiz to your course, firstly you need to turn editing on and then select the particular week or topic you'd like to add the quiz to. For example, I would like to add to the 8th September to 14th September week. Then click on the Add an Activity drop-down list and select Quiz. Once you do that, on this new page which loads up, you'll need to enter a name for the quiz. For example, an introduction, basically some text which appear at the top of the quiz. For example, now coming to the most important part of setting up the quiz. In the timing section, you'll notice that you can keep the quiz open for a particular time. So if you click on the checkbox here and enable these two options, you'll notice that you can select the start and close date for the quiz and the time too. And then over here you can have the time delay between the first and second attempt for the quizzes by a particular student. But if you'd like to have every student just attempt the quizzes once, then you can come down here to the attempts category and select 1. Okay, now moving forward over here, you notice that all these are various options which you can leave as the default options for the quizzes, but you could also play around with these and according to your convenience you can set them up. Now coming here down to here to security, you'll notice that you have a password option which enables you to give the students a password before they enter the quiz. But this is not a requirement, and I would suggest not using this because this would have an additional uh, task on your end to have these passwords available to the students. Now moving forward, if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll notice that these are basically feedback options which you can enter over here. For example, if a person or if a student gets a 100% on his first attempt at the quiz, you can have some feedback generated automatically once they submit the quiz, which says, or you can have a grade boundary set up. For example, if you have 50%, somebody score 50% or somebody score 75%, you can have those boundaries set up and feedback automatically generated. Now if you click on the same return to course button, you notice that the quiz uh, and over here you notice that there's a problem here. So you need to have it in sequence. So you would have 75% over here and then 50%, and then feedback over here says well done, and then feedback over here which would say and then I'll click on save and return to course. So now you'll notice that if I change my role to that of a student, the topic 4 quiz has been created in the particular week where we wanted it to appear. So if you click on topic 4, you notice that the introduction text you had for the students appears here at the top. Okay, and you notice that no questions have been added yet to the quiz. So once you go back to your course homepage, return to your normal role and click here turn editing on. Come back down to your quiz and click on the quiz title, and now you'll notice that you have a question bank over here on the right, and all the questions which are going to appear in your quiz named topic 4 would be here on the left. So for example, over here I have 2 questions already existing in my question bank, and the question bank is a general question bank which is used throughout your course. So for example, if you want to create a new question, you would say create new question, select choose, and say multiple choice, for example. And now over here the question name could be what is the answer for this topic point, and the question text could be something where if you want them to calculate a particular answer or anything you want them to know before they answer the question, or you could leave that empty. And then if you come down here, you'll notice that the default question grade is going to be 1, and a penalty factor is where if the question is answered wrong, firstly, a 0.1 reduction would take place in the grade, but if you do not want the penalty factor in there, you could just leave this as 0. Now if you scroll down, you'll notice that you have one or multiple answers, so you need only one answer to be the correct one among the number of choices. So the choice 1 over here would be, for example, the grade for this would be 100% because this would be my correct answer. Choice 2 would be, and the grade for this would be none because it's the wrong answer. And choice 3, for example, would be none again because it's the wrong answer. So I have 3 choices in there, or you can have more than that if you want to. Now you can have overall feedback for any correct response which the student gives. So after every correct response you give to an answer, you can have some feedback generated by the computer which the student would see. Or for any partially correct response, if you have more than one correct answers, you can have that feedback entered here too. And for incorrect response, again you have a text box here which you can give some feedback to the student. Now if you click on the Save Changes button, you'll notice that my question has been created in my question bank. Now to add this question to my quiz, I will need to select the question and say Add to Quiz. So now this question has been added to my quiz. Now I can add the other questions which exist in my question bank too, which I created beforehand in the similar fashion I just showed you, and say Add to Quiz. So now all 3 questions have been added to the quiz, and I have a total grade of 3, and the maximum grade I would change that to 3 too. Now I can click on Save Changes. Now if I go back to my topic 4 quiz and say Preview Quiz Now, you'll notice that since we had this quiz set up as a single attempt quiz, whenever a student attempts to answer this quiz, this pop-up box would show up. So now if I click OK, you notice that my questions start from number 1 over here, multiple choice, number 2 over here, and number 3 over here. So I had the number 1 question set up as multiple choice. So, and if you remember, A option was the correct option. So if I select A and click on Submit, correct answer. So marks with a submission 1 on 1. Now if I go to 2, you can have some text which would be the one which you entered while setting up the question, and that would be correct text. Or if, for example, I've set these questions up as no grade questions and I just need some feedback from the students. So if I do that, I just type in some text over here, click on Submit, and I click on Submit. So all 3 questions have been answered. Now I would say Submit All and Finish. I click on OK. So now my quiz has been submitted. So now you can see that the student can actually review the quiz answers once he or she completes the quiz. So now once you do this, once the student does this, rather, you would be notified in your email that the student has completed the quiz. So you can come in here and click on topic 4 and see results for the quiz. So you'll notice that you have various manual grading options over here if you want to grade the text questions which you had set up in your quiz, or you can again edit the quiz over here by again adding more questions to the quiz. So now this concludes our quiz training session, but there's a lot more you can do with quizzes, and if you have any questions or if you want to learn the quiz module more in detail, please contact me via email at yogeshnahar@kraus.org. Thank you.